Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the December meeting for Chesterfield County Council. I will now call it to order. I'm going to call on Councilmember Brandon Price for our prayer.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for your grace and your mercy that you've placed upon us, Lord. Thank you for the citizens of this county, Lord. Thank you for the citizens that are here present today. God, may we honor you with all of the decisions that we make. And Lord, may we continue to lift your name on high, Lord. And we ask all this in your name. Amen.
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 To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to adopt today's agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Brand, second by Mr. Curtis. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Okay, agenda's adopted. Special recognition, employees' years of service. Kim Cole.
Good morning.
First one we have is David Quick, 5 years with the Convenience Center. Daniel Scott, 5 years with the Sheriff's Department. Randall Smith, 5 years with the Sheriff's Department. Dwayne Gillespie, 5 years with the Sheriff's Department. Robert Johnson, 5 years with the Sheriff's Department. James Perry, 10 years with the Sheriff's Department. Billie Jean Albright, 15 years with the Assessor's Office. And Brenda Johnson, 5 years with the County Court.
I think a lot of those are school resource officers. So, yeah, thank you. Okay. You have the minutes from our last November meeting. Is there a motion to approve those November 5th regular council meeting?
So moved.
All right, there's a motion by Mr. Kirkley. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Smallwood. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All right, motion carries. We've got signing of the bonds, payroll, and authorizations are being passed around. We have 2 appointments this morning. The first is Andrew Frick with the 2026 Sandblast Road Rally. Welcome back.
Hello, members of the council. My name is Andrew Frick. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. So I'm the organizer of the Sandblast Rally that's been coming to Chesterfield County now. This will be our 30th running of the event in 2026. So you should have in your packet a request for authorization to close a few county roads. It'll be the race this year is the last weekend in February because March starts on Sunday. So it'll be, we're racing Friday, February 27th and Saturday, February 28th. And so we appreciate, the support of the county. Last year we had a good event. We had 45 interests, which is about where we've settled post-COVID. We were a little higher pre-COVID, but with just the nature of the evolving of the sport, that's about where we are going forward. I anticipate another, similar turnout this year based on what the other events around the country are seeing. So yeah, we're planning on running a very similar event to what we've run in the last couple of years. Similar structure, similar timing. But yeah, it's the competitors really like racing after dark on Friday. That was a change we made a couple years ago, which has really been good for, it's created some really good pictures, but it's also created a lot of enthusiasm from the competitor base. So with that, I open any questions or concerns y'all have, or on the race.
Will it be the same closures that we had last year?
Yeah, it's been the same closures for, other than the Friday night edition that we added a couple years ago, it's basically been the same road closures up to this point.
Ms. Stanley, do you know if we had any complaints from the citizens on those road closures?
Not to my knowledge, we didn't.
Okay.
Okay, any more questions?
Madam Chairman, if I may just make the mail service aware of what we're doing.
Absolutely. Yep, we do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, I'll entertain a motion to close these roads for the Sandblast Road Rally.
Motion.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Just want to say thank you for your investment in our county. It brings lots of great folks here for a wonderful weekend. It's been a pleasure of mine to get to know not only the organizers, but a lot of the folks who come for the event. And they really, truly love Chesterfield County and spend a lot of time and money here. So we appreciate that. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much for the support.
All right, so with that, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Frick. All right, Mr. Jerry Morris. Mr. Morris.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Gary Morris, live here in Chesterfield. What I'm about to say is my opinion only. I come before you today to voice my opinion of two people that approached the county council last month for public hearing. This podium is in place for anyone to use to express suggestions, likes, dislikes, and concerns about county government. Call it what you may, but in this government setting, everyone should follow a code of conduct format, be respectful to everyone, and expect the same in return. Asking anyone appearing before county council to be professional, courteous, and present a presentation of due diligence is not asking too much. At the November 2025 council meeting, a gentleman approached council to express his opposition to a tax line on the 2025 county budget. Early into his presentation, it was evident that he spent no time checking his facts or his methods used in turn presented numbers that were grossly overstating and misleading to county residents. Given the opportunity to respond to my request to the link, letter to the editor, he did not that I am aware of. The second person approached county council, referencing his freedom of speech, and quickly turned his presentation into a vendetta towards county council as a whole, as well as naming two councilmen by name, also attacking county council mission statement. To add insult to injury, both of these gentlemen presented their comments during a segment of the county council meeting when they knew council members could not and would not respond to their comments. They could only listen due to a council rule or regulation on public hearing. These were, in my opinion, unfair attacks on county council. There should be some guardrails in place for council to have immediate response to accusations like these at some point in that meeting to eliminate more confusion, street talk on Facebook postings after leaving this hearing. I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morris.
Amen.
All right, with that being said, it is time for public comments. Before we begin public comments, just as a reminder to everybody, public comments are a time that the public is commenting to us. We as council, according to parliamentary procedure, that is why we are not able to comment back. It's not that we're not interested in what you say or that we don't want to address it in some manner. It's just that we follow parliamentary procedure. It is 4 minutes per person, 20 minutes per subject. On the back of the agenda today, you'll have that information on how long you may speak. And to Mr. Morris's point, we did not talk about this ahead of time. It wasn't stopped last time. The ordinance wasn't on the information that we gave you. So today, the full ordinance is on there, and you can read that bottom bullet point. Clearly says that making comments of a personal nature regarding others, shouting, yelling, or screaming will not be tolerated. So if that's your intent today, then this is not your venue. So, but with that being said, we do love hearing from the public because that's how we know what needs may need to be addressed. So if anyone would like to address council, we do have 6 people here. I want to remind you, though, that we have some public hearings that some of you may be here for, and you're welcome to talk during public comments, but if you're here for one of our public hearings, which is Project Maple Leaf, Fee and Lieu, which is one of our public hearings. The second one is the ordinance establishing the curfew hours for juveniles. you're welcome to just wait and talk then, if that's what you're here for. So with that being said, if there's anyone here to speak before council, if you'll come before us and just state your name and address.
Good morning, council.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Brian Morgan, 411 Church Street down in Sherrall. I'm affectionately known as Tex. I'm speaking on behalf of the new ordinance that y'all are proposing regarding the curfew for juveniles. So one of the concerns I have is...
So will you speak up just a little into your
I'm sorry.
microphone? All right.
One of the concerns I have is is there truly an increase in juvenile crime? You know, and that would be shown in the uniform crime reports. So are we seeing an increase? I do not disagree with proposal and implementation of an ordinance for the juveniles, because we're living in a different world than what most of us have grown up with. And it's scary out there. There's a lot of violence going on and a lot of just pure nasty. But we want to be fair about it. We want to be fair to the kids. We want to be fair to the families. So with that, you know, are we showing an increase in that? Now, one of the things that I said, and I was at the Baptist Church in Mount Zion regarding the Cash Sherrall issues that were going on. One of the first things that I said in that meeting was that it does begin in the home. Parenting begins in the home before, you know, got to get them straight, okay? So the proposal for this is actually a very good thing, because you're driving the ownership back into the family home, okay? The second concern I've got is the proposal where y'all are looking at the penalties, okay? When we take a look at the economic makeup of Chesterfield County, and in particular Sherrall, because they just lost an industry, Stanley, and you're looking at the first offense would be a verbal, you know, you start your paper trail. Second offense is a $500 fine and 30 days in jail. Economically, who's got $500 really, truly, that are burning a hole in their pocket during our economic times, right? So could it be looked at as a first offense being a $200 fine, and then the next offense being the $500 fine? And then you escalate it, you know, instead of going from being the verbal to boom, you're up here, okay? Do kind of like a little bit of an escalation process to help drive that home, because it's called change, and people really aren't accustomed to change that fast. You know, are we able to escalate it up, you know, in increments, you know, but not in increments that take so long for people to adapt to the change, but in increments that, you know, hey, we're for real about this. Let's do this right. And again, instead of being a knee-jerk reaction to what's been going on, we're making it a proactive reaction to help our community, to help our kids. And that's the most important thing, is helping our kids. And I think we're going to see some turnaround. I think that our kids are going to get a lot better. I think Dr. Ballinger is doing a very good job. There's a lot of things that he's bringing into the area, into the school district, that'll help out, that I grew up with. Because I'm from Texas. I know he's from Oklahoma. We'll leave it at that. I do respect the man, and I think he's bringing a lot to the table that's going to be very helpful for our communities and for this county. And that's all I have to say, and I do appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Hello, my name is Mary Merriman. I stay at, my address is 385 Woodland Hills Road, Ruby, South Carolina. I got a concern of when we bought this land from H.F. Bell and Johnny Davis, it had lease laws, and the lease laws is being broken. And I'm just wondering what can be done, because my main concern is it's a lady that stays beside my mother. She has a whole bunch of dogs. And the dogs are very noisy all the time. And it's causing my mama to have health problems because when she burned the waste from the dogs, the stuff is seeping through the house. So my mama take allergy shots. And I'm just wondering what could be done about the lease law because I'm quite sure everybody's mother is important to them and mine is too. So I'm just wondering, is there anything, it's some other laws being broken from this agreement too, but my main concern right now is getting some help about these dogs, because they bark all the time, constantly.
Ms. Merriman, we'll connect you with your county council member.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Uh-huh. Is there anyone else?
Good morning, City Council. I'm here to talk to y'all about these kids in our community because I have a nephew here in Chester.
Will you please just state your name and your address first?
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's
My name is Timothy Hodges, Timothy Wayne Hodges. I live at 182 Rolling Hill Lane.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, now my address is about these kids, what this gentleman was just talking about earlier, because me and my mother, right here, which you might know F. Hodges, might know Francis Hodges, we have been fighting for my nephew for almost a whole year. We went to Chesterfield County Sheriff's Office and talked to Mr. Campbell Streeter. He told us to go to the solicitor's office. We went to the solicitor's office. They told us to go talk to his public defendant, which we did. And then all of a sudden, he gets called to court. And me and my mother have yet to receive a phone call. But the person, I guess the case against him, she was called to court to come up there and testify. So my nephew been in Chesterfield County Jail almost a whole year without a bond. Now, every time he goes to the bond hearing, me and my mother are not notified, and then his bond is denied. But he didn't commit no murder. And if you look at Chesterfield County, because I've been living here almost 60 years, and we have the highest rate of murder in Chesterfield County right now than we ever had. But yet, people that's in jail for murder getting out on bond. And I can't figure out why my nephew's not getting out on bond and why me and my mother can't get a phone call just to try to go and represent my nephew because he is loved just like other people's children in this county are loved. We love my nephew. My mother loves her grandson. All people is equal justice and to see if Chesterfield County is truly representing the people of Chesterfield County. And I'm gonna leave it like that. But if y'all want to investigate, talk to the people. Talk to Mr. Streeter. Talk to the solicitor's office. Talk to the people at the public defender's office. Because our names and our recordings have been documented up there. And all we're trying to do is help my nephew, her grandson, which is a child that made a mistake. I'm not saying he didn't make a mistake, because we all make mistakes. But at the same time, we're supposed to be given a chance to correct that mistake, or at least given an equal opportunity to try to correct that mistake. And, you know, right now I'm feeling like me and my mother has been truly disrespected in this county, and I don't like that. And I just wanted to voice my opinion this morning, and I thank City Council for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hodges. Is there anyone else?
Good morning. My name is Philip Leviner. I live at 5260 West Market Street Extension in Sherrall. I'm here to kind of voice my concerns on the juvenile ordinance. I'm kind of strapped for time. I have to get back to work. So I want to just kind of make some things clear. I served this county as a paramedic for 13 years. I was also in juvenile justice for 5 years. My concerns today are more from a public safety and supportive stance. A lot of things are going around on Facebook, and I try not to get caught up in that world as it can go far left or far right. But I think what we're missing, guys, is accountability. I was raised and my dad told me there was nothing good out after midnight, and I still think that stands firm today. If our kids could be out at 11 and 12 o'clock at night with things to do that were positive, I would be all in support of you having your kids out. I have worked calls in this county where kids have ended up dead. I work juvenile justice where I've lost kids in my control, kids that were involved in bad situations that ended up being unalived for things that are so trivial we can't understand. The thing I have a concern with, my parents live in town, my parents are up in age. If there's a 16-year-old kid rummaging around in their yard at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, I know my father very well, it's liable to lead to a confrontation, and then we have a dead child in the yard, and then what are we gonna do? The concern here, I think, is for everybody is to get these kids home safely, get them in a safe environment. Law enforcement does not want to raise our children. I understand that. I think they do a great job here. If we can raise our children, I know everybody's home situation is different. I'm not trying to blame parents in this situation, but my man is right. It does start in the home. Unfortunately, it doesn't always get there, and then it becomes the responsibility of society and government to raise these kids. The 11 o'clock curfew, in my opinion, is a great start in the right direction. I thank the sheriff's office and the police department for coming up with this. It wasn't just a few short weeks ago that there was an outcry of people running around after midnight, kids in people's yards. They've come out with this. Obviously, we're not going to ever make everybody happy. I've never been to one of these meetings before, but it's starting to affect my life and what I do. I have 3 children that are under age of 17, and I want them to come home at night. Now, I don't allow my kids to be out that late. There is a curfew in my house that's way before 11. I think 11's too late. But at the end of the day, I think the county needs to realize we have lost teenagers in this community more so in the last 2 years than I've ever seen it happen, from gun violence, from any type of violence. And it's sad to see. Our children are our future, and if we don't protect them, we're not going to have a future. And if they can't get protection in their homes, then it becomes our responsibility as society to protect them for them. I'm in full support of this curfew, and I just wanted to make that known today.
Thank you, Mr. Lyon. Is there anyone else who would like to address council?
Hello, everyone. I'm Catherine Melton, and I live at 597 Woodland Hill Road. And I never been to one of these meetings, so when the man was up a while ago, I didn't know I was supposed to come on up then, but that road, that kind of road is closed. I've been staying where I live at for 36 years, and at 2 different times, the road, the peoples had to come through that dirt road to get back to number 9 because of an accident. One of the accidents I'm talking about, I went to Florence and came back, and the road was still closed. And that road need to be opened up, and besides that, it's a graveyard down in that road. It's a pretty big graveyard. It's 18-something. But it's a big graveyard down in there, and to close that road off, that's denying anybody to get to that graveyard, and that's not right. I see that on the TV all the time, where you can't get. It's a big graveyard down in there, and tombstones down in there. Me and my kids used to walk down in there when I first moved to Woodland Hill in '89. And it's a big graveyard down in there, and it should be so people can go down there. I don't know who belong to who, but people go to just look at the stone pieces to see how long somebody's been dead. And that road really shouldn't be closed off because it comes out to number 9, it goes out to Waxman, and it shouldn't be closed. And that closes us off from going to Ruby anyway on the golf cart. Thank you.
Council lady, can you get that name of that road?
We have it. Yes, sir. Yep. We'll connect you back. Yeah. Is there anybody else?
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Kirby Hughes. I reside at 2995 Highway 52 South in Chiraw. I'm here once again to address the unjust fee that has been imposed on our taxes. And I had, as I spoke last time, 1,236 signatures with people agreeing to the same fact. I spoke about this last month, and yet nothing has changed. If you thought I would simply go away, that's not going to happen. You passed an ordinance, and you made it fair for the ones living in the city limits. Now it's time to do what is right for those that are living in the rural areas. $38 a year may seem like a small amount, but we all know that this fee is not going to stay the same. And we pay enough taxes as it is already. Your own website, under our missions, on your website, Chesterfield County, it says, we will strive to provide leadership to all sections of the county while promoting unity and equal treatment for all of our citizens. Today, I'm here to tell you that you have failed to uphold that mission. So I ask you directly, what are you going to do about it? Give you an example. Gloria Hughes pays her taxes. She has private trash removal and never uses Tech Road's facilities, yet she's charged for this fee. Cena Mae Harper has no transportation, pays for trash removal, and cannot access the waste site, yet she's charged for this fee. This is not leadership. This is not equal treatment. If you truly believe in fairness, here is where it needs to start. Eliminate the fee for the citizens who can prove they already pay for private trash removal. Provide a tax break for those who do not use this service. Anything less is unacceptable. We are supposed to have a government for the people, by the people, for the people. Of the people meaning it originates from the citizens. By the people meaning it is run and administrated by them. For the people meaning it exists to serve their interests. The citizens of Chesterfield County expects actions. I'll be back next month and every month after to voice my opinion if things are not changed. I want to thank you for your time. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Is there anyone else who would like to address council?
Good morning, County Council. I'm Perry Strickland, the County Manager for HMES. This is Diane Simon. We run your employee clinic. We wanted to thank you for the year we've worked with you. We hope there's anything that you would like to see us do new for next year or anything that we can assist any of y'all or the employees, to please let us know. And we just wanted to say we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we just look forward to the new year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Didn't have anybody else who had signed up, so we'll move on to public hearings. We have two this morning. The first one is Project Maple Leaf Fee in lieu ordinance. Is there a motion to, okay, there's a motion to open the public hearing by Mr. Curtis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Kirkley. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the public hearing is now open. Would anyone like to address council regarding Project Maple Leaf Fee in lieu?
I got something to say.
Sure.
I understand the policies and procedures of how this goes, but it's very difficult to have a public hearing on something that the public has absolutely no clue what it is. And so I don't know how we can move forward with a public hearing without them having the opportunity to speak their opinion about what it is. It's not that I disagree with the project, I just disagree with the procedure.
Sure, and because of economic development projects, this is not uncommon. However, I understand. And I think most of us, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I feel like we would agree with that. So I'll call our economic developer up, and Libby Lear, if you want to come and say what you can about the project, give as much information as you can regarding the project that doesn't disclose anything that would jeopardize the project.
I was going to speak after the third reading, but I'll be happy to talk.
Well, now it's public hearing, so they want to know what the project's about. And although we've been privy to it,
Sure.
okay, thank you.
So this is a project that we've been working on for about a year and a half. And I wanted to thank council for working with me on this company. This is a Canadian company that was founded with the goal of improving the environment by decreasing the demand for rare earth minerals to be mined. Their process recycles items at their end of life into elements that will be used for high-performance electronics, medical devices, and electric vehicles, among other things. In 2025, MIT and Fast Company named Cyclic Materials one of the top 10 companies to watch for innovation and the circular economy. With the lowest wage of $27 per hour, Cyclic, I don't think, will have trouble finding workers. For their first phase, they are investing $38 million and plan to employ up to 58 people. And I was going to add, we now know their name, but the company will not be making an announcement until the latter part of January.
Okay. And I know that there's been some discussion as to why we do fee in lieu of taxes. And you are welcome to explain this better than I, but it is a common practice in economic development, particularly in South Carolina, across the state. If we didn't have a fee in lieu of taxes, our tax rate here is 10%. So for industry. So, you know, we wouldn't have Walmart distribution. We wouldn't have Scheffler. We wouldn't have some of these major players that we have in our county if we didn't offer a fee and lieu. So it does look like to the public, I feel like we're giving up some opportunity for taxes there, but we're making it back in many other ways. So just to clarify that fee and lieu part. And if you want to add to that, I'm certainly not an expert on it. I'm just telling you what we know.
That is exactly correct. And I'll give you an example of a project that we had earlier this year. The property was at the agrarian rate of 4%. And a solar farm is going to be coming to that property. But when it was at the agricultural rate, it brought in almost $1,200 a year. And now, I think it's going to be an average of $192,000 a year for 30 years, without really any demand on the county. So
Public services.
And also the fee is incentive for the company to come here. I feel like the company is here in part because we did offer them a fee in lieu.
Mm-hmm.
How much revenue is this expected to generate yearly off of their investment to Chesterfield County?
Do you mean from the fee? Oh, sorry. Yes. I was going to introduce John Wall. This is their South Carolina Economic Development Attorney.
Awesome. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Council, and great questions, and they're valid questions. And that's why we have the Chief Operations Officer from the company and myself that made our time to come out here today. So I'm John Wall. I'm with Burr Foreman Law Firm in Columbia. We were formerly Governor McNair's firm, Governor McNair Law Firm. I'm in Columbia originally. I'm from Camden, so very familiar with this area. And happy to answer any questions. To answer your question specifically on the revenue generation, this will be at least over the first 30 years, generate $5 million of additional property tax revenue, which is more than the property tax incentives received. So this is all in an $82.6 million investment in 91 new jobs to the county that all pay well over the county per capita income wage for 2025 as established by the South Carolina Department of Revenue. This company is critical to well, first, let me start with the county. This will be the largest investment, or the second largest investment for a manufacturing facility in Chesterfield County's history. only one other project in 2015, Schaeffler Group, the expansion, has a larger investment than this and a larger number of jobs. There was a solar project that was a $100 million investment that y'all might be familiar with in 2018. That was on a manufacturing job, but if you count that in there, this would be the third largest. This is, besides the investment and the jobs, and again, the secrecy, we're following the county's procedure, right? And we always follow the local lead, and you got a phenomenal team of leaders here. So we follow the normal procedure, but we're here to answer any questions, and that's why we made ourselves available for today. But this is the only reason the announcement is not happening, and we would we hopefully respectfully request for this not to get out in the public news now, and the reasoning for that is twofold. First, the state is very supportive of this project, and they are approving state incentives that if anything comes out about the company coming here, and this because of y'all's meeting schedule right before the December 4th meeting, you know, that could cause problems. Secondary, the company is super excited about doing a joint press release with you all, with the governor, with Secretary Lightsey, and your leadership, and they want that to come out in a complete package in January. So that's the only reason for that, and that's the state procedure and the county procedure. Now, I'm former military. I know you're good Representative Richie Yao, and probably many of you will have served your country like I have, and I see all these on the wall. Right, this is a critical project to bring this critical minerals in the supply chain to the United States. And South Carolina has an amazing opportunity right now to be a leader, and so does Chesterfield County, right? It's public, and more will come out on this, but with these super magnets, they're critical to our nation's defense. They're also critical to the energy sector and the electric vehicle sector. The way the warfare is changing right now there's no more, I mean, there are rangers like myself and my ranger buddies doing those things, but it's all autonomous right now, right? So these 91 jobs, this $82.6 million investment in this critical industry is not just an opportunity with this project, but also follow-on projects where South Carolina can really lead the way in supporting our nation's defense and also generating new revenue and great jobs for the county.
Would the actual company be in McBee?
Excuse me?
Would the actual company be in McBee?
Yes, sir.
What's the company's pledge for, along with manufacturing, sometimes comes hazardous materials, is their pledge to make sure that they have everything in place so we don't have an environmental issue moving forward?
That's a great question. If I may, can I introduce Matt, because he's more familiar with the process than myself. Is it, Madam Chair, is that okay?
Sure.
All right, I'd like to introduce Matt Travati, who is the Chief Operations Officer for Project Maple Leaf.
Thanks, John. Good morning to the council here. My name is Matt Travati. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Cyclic Materials. I actually just recently joined. I come from a 25-year career working in the mining and chemical industry. In this plant, I can certainly commit that we will we'll follow all the state regulations, we'll follow the necessary rules and make sure that there is as absolute minimal impact as possible to the site that we will take over and the region around it. It is certainly our objective to be a very strong member of this community and to be very supportive of it and provide additional jobs, provide to get goods from this region and to get our services from this region.
I got one question for you, please.
Sure.
Do you plan to hire residents of this county, or are you planning to import folks from out of town to work at your company?
Well, the plan obviously was to hire local first. as a first priority, and we've already made commitments as well as to set up training programs to look at apprenticeship and to train people to meet the necessary aspects. The project has a lot of technology around it as well, a lot of instrumentation, so there's some specialized skills, but we will certainly look to the local county first, the local city, and we'll only bring in if we have to.
Any more questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address council? This is in regards to the project that we're talking, Project Maple Leaf.
Well, if there's nothing else, I want to thank the county attorney, Councilman Kirkley, and Madam Chair, the county administrator, and obviously Libby, Cherry. Y'all got a phenomenal economic development team. They really did all the heavy lifting with this, and obviously Representative Yao and others. I know Senator Blackman could not be here today, but if there's any questions, we're very transparent, right? We're by the book. You can contact me, and we look forward to doing a joint press release with all of you come January, and be happy to give exclusive interviews with the company leadership and the local press. And again, if you need anything, just call.
Just make sure you remember where our water comes from.
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to point out one thing. We do have a few little Facebook pages, as y'all mentioned, with a couple of the comparisons for investments mentioned solar. This has nothing to do with solar. So everybody here, this is not a solar.
Yeah, my apologies. And to clarify, if you didn't hear that, I was just using that as a comparison for past projects in Chesterfield County, and that was the only reference to this. This is nothing to do with that.
Would you state your name again so we have your contact information?
Yes, sir. It's John Wall. That's Whiskey Alpha Lima Lima. Okay. And Libby, and then have my cell phone. Call me anytime.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Madam Chairman, if I may.
Sure.
Ms. Lear, I believe there's a virtual tour that you could go over this facility too, isn't there?
Do you all have that on your, is there a virtual tour?
I don't believe so yet.
There's not a virtual tour.
Okay, I
do
was
have
under-
information, but there's not actually a
Okay,
virtual
good enough.
tour that I'm aware of. But I do have information that I can share with you all.
Okay, thank you.
I've been giving you all some information.
Yes, ma'am.
every couple of months, little updates.
All right, thank you. All right, if no one else wishes to address council in this public hearing, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, the public hearing is now closed. Our second public hearing is regarding the establishment of the curfew hours for juveniles. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So move.
Okay, motion by Ms. Burns, second by Dr. Brand. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I know that we've heard from several of you regarding this already, but if there's anyone else the public hearing is now open. If anyone would like to address council, you're welcome to come before council. If you'll just state your name and your address.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Angela Sanderson, 84 Underground Branch Road. That is a Hartsville address, but blessed Chesterfield County. First time ever coming to a county council meeting. That's how much this meant to me. I did even attend my first town council meeting last night, where Mr. Curtis was there, and I discussed this matter with him as well. So as far as the juvenile curfew ordinance, I am very much opposed to this. I think it infringes on our parental rights and our children's constitutional freedoms. Protecting the community should not mean stripping families of their ability to be able to raise their children the way they want to. It should not be treating minors as criminals simply for being outside or in public areas. I know that the ordinance does address the First Amendment, and while it does claim to protect free speech, religion, and assembly, This enforcement risks chilling lawful expression. There will be fear of punishment and harassment, mistreatment. How will it be consistently enforced? How will you consistently enforce which juveniles, all juveniles, are being treated whenever they are outside of these curfew hours? It also infringes on the Fourth Amendment. Curfews invite the arbitrary stops, questionings. I'm sure most of you are aware of the Fourth Amendment, unreasonable search and seizure. I come from a family of law enforcement. I will always support law enforcement. Both my parents were police officers, aunts, uncles. I have a lot of law enforcement. I will never believe that this will not be used or abused in some manner that it should not be. I will never believe that we will not get oh, I pulled your vehicle over because I got a tip you had a minor in it and it's past curfew. Oh, what's that smell? Is that marijuana? And the vehicle search. I will never believe that at some point this won't be abused. I love law enforcement. Please do not take that as me saying that all law enforcement is bad. I just do not believe that this will not be abused. This also comes back to our 14th Amendment, equal protection and due process. Discrimination based on age, that's what this is. And punishing without fair cause, you're punishing families without fair cause on this. If my son, who ages out of this, right, he turns 18 this month, but he likes to go catfishing, and he doesn't get home until 2:30 in the morning. And if he gets pulled over because his vehicle is well known, he is a juvenile, if he gets pulled over and gets a ticket for it, I'm going to be punished because I let my son go catfishing. He wasn't breaking any laws. Curfews undermine due process by being vague and overly broad. And I don't care how much you write it out in this ordinance, what you have written out, there's still going to be some broadness and vagueness on it. It still will not be enforced equally amongst all juveniles. Parental rights. The Supreme Court has recognized the parent's fundamental right to direct the upbringing of their children. This ordinance shifts that responsibility to law enforcement. I realize that there are parents out there who are just slack and they do not take responsibility for their children. So create an ordinance that allows you to punish once the crime has been done. If you want to charge the parents, then create the ordinance that allows you to charge the parents once the crime has been done. We have too many laws on the books right now that can be enforced that would mean that we don't need to implement a curfew on the masses for the few that are out there. It's a slippery slope. The language that we are doing this to protect our community is the same justification for other forms of government overreach, which is what this is. This is the same sentiment that would be used for restricting gun ownership. And are these two very different subjects? They really are. But it's the same government overreach. Mandating medical procedures such as the COVID vaccine, this is the same thing. We're doing this to protect the community. It's the same government overreach. Imposing digital IDs, it's the same government overreach. If we allowed this to come into the walls of our houses and mandate what our parental rights are, it is allowing government overreach. Each of these policies is framed as safety, but in reality, they're just eroding the individual liberties of the family's ability to rule their own house. Parents, not governments, should decide where their children can be after 11 p.m. Criminalizing the youth for being in public places risks stigmatizing them and creating distrust between the families and law enforcement, because as much as I am in support of the blue, if you think that I would roll over on this one bit, I will not. If my kid gets stopped and searched or ticketed for being out after curfew and you think I won't protest it, I will. And I will pay my fine and I will do my 30 days in jail and I will do whatever it is. And the next time I come to a meeting, I will hold hands with Jody Barr as I walk through the door. I am telling you, I will scream this to the top of my lungs. I will die on my feet and will not live on my knees. I will not ever tolerate this type of government overreach. I am urging you I'm urging you, council, please reject this ordinance. Instead, invest in our community programs, invest in mentorships, invest in stricter enforcement of the current laws that are on the books. Please do not punish the masses of juveniles that are not criminals, because that is what this is doing. This is punishing kids who do not deserve to be punished for the few who have been out breaking the laws. Implement stricter enforcement. Punish the judges who are slapping them on the wrist and letting them out, but do not punish me as a parent for allowing my child to do something that is not criminal, just because it falls outside of the hours of what you feel are appropriate, because that's my choice to make, not the government's. Mr. Curtis, you were there last night. I told you all of this. This really does boil down to age-based discrimination outside of the government overreach. We told you in our town of Patrick, we don't feel like this is a problem for us. We don't feel like this really applies to us in any way. But let's look at it slightly different. If we move that range of judging based off of age to the other side of it, our lovely mayor, she sits in the middle of town all night. So my child, because he's under 18, can't be out during certain hours. What if on the flip side of that, we decide that for community protection, we're not going to let anybody over the age of 65 drive after dark? Is that ridiculous? Absolutely. But it is the same sentiment there, because we're protecting people from being on the road when it's dark and it may not be safe. Well, are all people over the 65 not good at driving at night? Absolutely not. But we're going to punish everybody to protect that little bit. She's our mayor. She sits up there. She said, we don't need it. The town of Sherrall has it, right? There's a curfew that's been in place since '94.
Right.
Has it curbed the criminal activity of juveniles in any way, shape, or form since '94? It is not going to do what you believe it is going to do. It is going to cause a lot more work for our law enforcement. It's going to open up Chesterfield County for some lawsuits, for discrimination, and for all kinds of things. I am begging you, please find another way. Punish the parents a different way, put in an ordinance that allows you to find them, enforce our current laws that are on the books. That is all I have. Thank you.
Man, what is your name again?
My name is Angela Sanderson, and it is 84 Underground Branch Road, Hartsfield, but that is Chesterfield County, back behind beautiful Cedar Creek Baptist Church.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
My name is Kip Kaiser, and I serve as the Chesterfield County Coroner. My address is 299 Brooks Circle. I do not usually make it a point to speak in public forum. I am not really against anything if it is for the parents, if it is for the children, if it is for the safety of this community. What I am definitely for is any action by a faith-based community, a government entity, parents, or anyone else that can keep me from putting juveniles into body bags.
Good morning. My name is Kanada Simon. I'm from Wallace, South Carolina, Marble County. I stay 10 minutes from here, well, maybe 15. I'm a child care specialist, a ICS advocate, a first steps advocate. I'm nervous, and I'm a parent. I'm a daycare owner. I'm a lot of things. However, no matter what we are, we're still a child. At one point in our lives, when we left out our doors, it was the safest place. We're telling children that we don't know what's going on in their home, but stay home. How can we really say that a child feels safer in their home is safe, and they're outside 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. The child might feel safer outside of their home. We don't know what's going on in their home, but we say, go home, stay home, don't come out. We don't know the parents' schedules. We even have a program where I closed down my in-home daycare, licensed ABC Quality, was getting funded from the government. They gave us $50,000 last year. Closed that down to open up an academy. We reached out to everyone. Ms. Mary Anderson, I thank God for you, because along the way, you've just been supporting. This is my old teacher, so it really means a lot to know that you can go back to where you started from and still have that support. Because when I was a young child in school, I gave them hell. I did. I had a story. I told one of my teachers, I said, don't call my mama, because my mama's a stripper. And she works third shift, and if you call her and you bother her, she's gonna spaz on you and me. And my teacher, Miss Harris, she put me to the side, she said, why would you lie on your mama? And she goes to work a hard job at Walmart, and you're telling these people that your mama's doing this and nothing's wrong with it, but why would you lie on your mother so that you can continue to get in trouble? And when it all came out, my mother was so hurt. She was embarrassed because she was going to work every day to take care of us. I'm at this school showing my behind. I mean, I'm to the point where it's like, I'm doing what I want to because they're afraid to call home, because they're thinking that if they call home, mama's gonna come up here and show off so bad. When the truth came out, mama came up there and got me straight. And mama didn't have to come back until I got to high school, and I skipped every day. I missed 100 days straight before they called home. And by this point, I'm already getting expelled. I'm in 12th grade, 3.0 GPA, fell into attendance because I'm not going every day. I went to jail one time because my friend was getting bullied. I'm skipping school, they called me, I go. I'm the big bad person today. I became the bully. Went to jail. Stayed 2 hours, just 2 hours. But when I went back to court, the lady who was in my cell with me was still there. 4 months later, an older lady. Now, that's just saying for that, because I was in the wrong. But I was a 16-year-old child trying to be the protector of a 15, 14-year-old child and stand in and be the adult in it. Not knowing that right across the street, this police officer stays there watching the whole thing, and they call 911 to pull up, we trying to run. And everybody else says, I didn't have nothing to do with it. And so many of our children are going through that right now. So many of our kids are faced with these same situations where they're trying to protect other people. Because we don't know what's going on in people's homes. There's children out here messing with their sisters and brothers right now. And we don't know what's going on in the house. There's parents messing with their children right now in a home. And the safest place for that child is to be outside in the streets. There's parents doing drugs right now. They can't get off of those drugs. They love their kids, They love their kids. But that habit that they have is holding them from being the parent they need to be. We say, okay, yeah, we know what's going on. We have a plan. We came and said, hey, we have an academy we're going to open that's 24/7. 24/7 child care. It's a nonprofit. We're not asking people to fund it. We asked at first, then, but glory to God, we're getting $2.5 million from the USDA, but that's a loan. Then we came back in with the grants, and I started calling around. I started calling Chesterfield in Marbury County. When I found out about the Department of Justice grants they had for $3 million, $500,000, and I'm wondering why nobody applied, then I pull it up. Chesterfield did apply in 2024 for $14,000. But where did that go? What was that done on? It's the Department of Justice. These are grants to help the community. Then they had over 20 grants this year. So I'm calling and saying, well, did any of us apply for those grants?
So, Ms. Simon, you know I care for you. You're my student, right? Yeah, but we need to really focus on
the curfew.
On the curfew.
Well, let me get back to it, okay?
So let's circle back.
Okay, so what we're saying is this right here. If you don't have any plans in place and you're giving this curfew, what are the plans that are in place along with these curfews that you're giving? Are there support for the families? Are there training for the parents? Is there mentorship for the children? And those programs that we're claiming for, we're asking for, they have funding for those programs. So they don't have to come out of pocket. They don't have to be tax dollars. They don't have to be, we go and try to raise these funds. They can be applied for, because I am a person who is a nonprofit organization and was able to apply for these grants. And they tell you exactly what's needed. And so therefore you are able to apply. It might take longer time, but that funding is there. The resources are there. We partner with Clemson for the strengths, Gallup strengths, to help figure out what's the strengths needed in the home. As a child care specialist, you've got to know what's going on in that home before you put that curfew on these families. You've got to be there to support them. Some people don't have no food or nothing in their home, and you're telling them to stay home. You don't know what's going on with these kids for real, and then you're not helping them. You're saying you're gonna go to jail. So many children have committed suicide from the life they live at home. I'm just a survivor, and my life was not that bad at home. But I felt like it was so bad that I tried to commit suicide so many times. Had to go to the crazy house because of my mind, not realizing that our environment, it does shape us and shift us. And even though home can be nice, it can be good. But when you step outside that door, yes, it's bad as well. But once you get a dose of it, you want more of it. It's the same thing as a drug. And now y'all are telling us they're giving you the drug, you're giving them the freedom, now take it back. The same curfew, I should say, was there when COVID hit. Everybody still had COVID, wasn't nobody staying home. You tell a child they got a curfew right now, my curfew was 10 o'clock, I came home at 1 o'clock. I mean, honestly, or don't go home, you won't go home. You can't, if you miss your curfew come out, you just won't go home, you'll find somewhere else to go. That's what a trap spot is. That's what a dope house is. That's what your friend house is. That's what Uncle Auntie house is. They're a safe place that you can do whatever. We gotta do better. We have statistics showing you about the children that have passed over the last 5 years that won't ever get the chance. Stand up for these kids that's already passed. We're trying to get Nazaya's corner. She was a little child that committed suicide to being bullied in her own home. She wasn't bullied at home.
Ms. Simon, we got to stay with the curfew.
I apologize, y'all.
No, sorry.
If we would have had these things in place with real structure and guidance, our children would feel safe to come to you guys, to come to me, and to come to the police.
Well, and I appreciate the resources that you know about and have, and once we move forward with this, we will connect with you. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank y'all for the time.
Thank you for being here.
And we got the resources y'all need right here. We got
Thank
everything
you.
y'all need for y'all.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Thank y'all for having me. My name is Timothy Wayne Hodges. As I said before, I live at 182 Rolling Hill Lane. And the only reason I'm saying something about this situation, because just like I said earlier, it reflects back to my nephew. Y'all want to put this curfew in place, but I have over 13, 14 grandkids. I have a grandson that's in high school right now. He goes to work at Sonics in the evening. When he gets out of school, he gets off at 11, 12 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So when he get off from work, sometimes he wants to go to his girlfriend's house or go to one of his friends' house. You know, then if he gets stopped, then I'm back up here dealing with what I'm dealing with my nephew. I've got to fight for my grandchild. And I'm just saying, when we put these things in place, such as curfews, then we need to have other things that's available to the kids too. For instance, here in Chesterfield, we have a YMCA for the kids. But what about people like in Ruby, Mount Crockett? What about people, the kids that's in Cash, kids that's in Patrick? Where do they have to go and do other things, you know? So if it's at 11 o'clock at night, they can go to somewhere like a YMCA. They can go to somewhere like, you know, something like a school setting up program or something they can do where they won't get in trouble. But my main concern for this, my main thing for this curfew is that I don't want to be up here fighting for my grandkids when they get stopped just because they came to my house and leaving my house and going back up to my mother's house, which is in Chesterfield, or, you know, they going to, my grandchild going to work and then just left work, want to go over to one of his buddy's house and they get stopped and it's 11 o'clock after night, you know, so now the police want to write them up or take them downtown or call us or whatever. You know, I just feel like we need other things besides a curfew for those kids, because I'm tired of fighting for I'm just saying my people. Because for some reason, just like the young man or young lady said earlier, these state troopers, they stop. The majority of people look like me. Then the first thing they do, they stop if they want to search the car. Even though they don't have probable cause, this is still what's happening to people like me. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was so upset when I came up here earlier talking about my nephew. How y'all gonna have my nephew locked up for a whole year in Chesterfield County Jail, but me and my mother can't even get a phone call just to come to the courthouse to represent him? So what you think gonna happen to all these other young kids with this curfew? So that's all I want to say. If you're going to come up with a curfew, come up with something else that's going to have some type of alleviation for the kids so they don't just automatically get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all very much for y'all time.
Thank you. I'd like to call our county attorney, Colin Bryant, forward. If you would, we tasked this came to us by the solicitor's office, the sheriff's office, and the school district. So we tasked them to come up with how that ordinance would look. And Mr. Bryant was at their last meeting, and I'd just like for you to report to council on that.
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you for giving me some time to speak to council this morning. You're right. This was a committee of interested parties from the school district, police chiefs from every municipality that has a police department in our county, and we had input from our solicitor, Mike Birch. This ordinance that we have in front of us today, it tries to strike a compromise between the freedoms of parents and kids and the importance of Chesterfield County doing something and trying to combat juvenile violence. The curfew sets curfew hours from 11 to 6. And I think the big thing the community needs to know about this curfew is that when the enforcement piece comes in, and I think Sheriff Campbell Streeter can speak to this, our law enforcement's not going out and hunting kids or looking for people to, going and trying to get people's cars or, going in the woods and getting people who are doing recreational activities. We're looking for the person who's up to no good. I mean, that's the kind of the person we're looking for, and this is what this, the curfew is, trying to achieve. And the other thing you should know is that this curfew puts in place reasonable exceptions. We're not trying to get the person who's at work. That's an exception. You won't be found in violation of the curfew if you are going to or coming from an employment activity. You also will not be found to be in violation of the curfew if you're accompanied by your parent or guardian, or if you're involved in an emergency, or attending a school, religious, or recreational activity, or exercising First Amendment rights protected by the Constitution. It also is a defense to parents if you know your juvenile is in violation of this curfew. You have a responsibility to contact law enforcement, but if you contact law enforcement and cooperate, we're not charging you. You're doing your part under this ordinance. Once again, this ordinance is not trying to go out and get kids or track down cars or sit on the side of the road and is that a juvenile? Is that a juvenile? It's mainly looking for the people who are up to no good. And I think the ordinance that we've written with the input from all of these people, with school district who deal with kids on a daily basis, with me, the solicitor who will be in charge of enforcing this law, and then also the police chiefs who are in the municipalities every day. I think we crafted something that strikes a balance between freedom, parental rights, and the county's job of ensuring a safe community for all of our citizens.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. I know that Sheriff Streeter and Spence Vaughn have been an integral part of this. If you would like to come up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There seems to be a lot of misunderstanding about what curfew is for.
Sheriff, please. You speak up, please.
Yes, sir. Is that better?
Yes, sir. I'm hard of hearing.
Goes with age. Seems to be some misunderstanding about the curfew and what it's intended for. First of all, The cities, most of the cities in Chesterfield County have had a curfew for many, many years, and the people that live in the cities don't even know it. So it hadn't been a terrible thing for those cities. But when we have kids riding around shooting up houses, shooting up other cars, shooting up other people, we have to do something. And we've had a lot of that going on. And you addressed what the statistics say. Talk to the deputies that are out there at night. Talk to the people that talk to these council members that get the calls from their constituents. So the purpose of the curfew, if you look at it, the purpose is to protect juveniles, protect the kids. That's what the whole purpose of the curfew is about. And then the intent of the curfew is to keep the kids from breaking the law out there. If that's not our job, what is our job? To protect people and to keep them from breaking the law. So, ma'am, Ms. Anderson, you talked about your family being in law enforcement, so you understand we have discretion.
I also
Officers,
understand that if you enforce current laws, you don't have to overreach on ones that are not even created yet.
okay, hear me out. I heard you out, and I appreciate you hearing me out. Officer discretion is a major part of what we do. And we're not going to be riding around out here at 2 o'clock in the morning stopping every car to see if there's a kid in it. We don't have time to do that. What we're going to do, if a car is involved, if they're not breaking the law, we're not going to stop the car anyway. We've got to have probable cause to do a traffic stop. So we're not going to be riding around just stopping cars looking to see if there are kids in cars. If kids are going hunting and they're on their way home from hunting, they've been fishing on the river and stuff, they're not breaking the law. We're talking about kids that are out there breaking the law. So keep that in mind. I think the whole thing is the kids that are breaking the law are the ones we're going to deal with. If they're not breaking the law, we're not going to deal with them. I got my chief deputy here, and he's very passionate about this, and so.
All I can say, we hadn't hid from the beginning of this. We've been up front with it, and our primary reason for this is these drive-by shootings where we've got juveniles being killed. We understand we had a juvenile shot in Sherrall, I believe it was at 5:30 in the afternoon the other day, so curfew wouldn't help with that. Well, we've got to do something. We're not out here hunting children to harass. I've been here 29 years, and I'm not going to all of a sudden start getting a desire to harass juveniles. I'm here to try to have something in place so if we have a child killed from a drive-by shooting that a carload in a Honda Accord did, and when we go to their house, we can do something to the parents instead of us getting cussed out because their child killed somebody. That's all our goal behind this whole thing is to have a tool to help prevent another child from getting killed, and that is all. We've been up front with it. I've reached out to DJJ because I know there's grandparents raising children. There's children that there's parents that have incorrigible children that they can't do nothing with, that we have to go to get them to go to school, to get them to get in the house, or whatever they have to do. I've reached out and got the information from DJJ, what these parents that's having to suffer through with these out-of-control children, what they can do to help get the process started to get them some help with DJJ. So they're not going to be in trouble. We've done all we can do to try to help and protect the parents the best they can. All they got to do is reach out to us, and we'll get them headed in the right direction. Now, the towns has had it for years, and all of a sudden, because we, as a county government, said we got to do something, it's now it's a problem. But we're the ones that are having to deal with these dead children or these houses shot up. Don't nobody know nothing. Don't nobody tell us nothing. But then somebody else's house gets shot up an hour later. We're just needing something to help us do our job. That's all we're asking. We're not out here going to harass them. And back to officer discretion. If highway patrol stops somebody for speeding, don't mean he's going to get a ticket. Probably going to get a warning. Same scenario. We stop a car because they run a stop sign and he's coming home from his girlfriend's house. Be careful going home. If you're breaking in a car, then that's a whole other issue. That's the whole gist behind this whole thing. It's just having something We know it's not going, child got killed at the Watermelon Festival at 9 o'clock at night. Curfew wouldn't have helped it. But the weekend, and I've referred to this, I think to be the fourth time, but we had the 9-year-old killed in Paisley, while he was taken by his parents to a fight. The weekend before that, we had a 14-year-old stole 4 cars in a weekend. That would help with that. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for people that went fishing, because, I mean, we're going to sit there and look at the catfish in the 5-gallon bucket and say, man, you did good. You have to be careful going home. That's what we're going to do. I mean, but if anybody got any questions or whatever, that's Yeah, what may I it is. say something, Madam Chair?
No, we're not, no. This is not the time in which we're going to do that. No, no. You may.
I want to reiterate what you said. In most of the cities, the curfew has already been in place. What we have tried to do as a county with the sheriff department, the captain, chief of police, school district, is make it uniformity. That's all Where we have consistency across the board. But all those other things you said already in place. The solicitor, we met with them here, I'll be brief, and along with the sheriff and everybody else, they made it very clear on what you just said. I'm not gonna reinstate it, that we're not here to hurt anybody. We just wanna have some uniformity of what we're already doing. And I think that's the key thing today for everybody to remember. We just want uniformity across the board. We want to sing. You have uniformity, you have equality. Sing out the You have song, justice, all we're trying and to you have equal across the board with everybody, way everybody's treated the same without any injustice. That's all we're trying to do. And that's all Sherrall's did with theirs and Paisley's, and we're just trying to have something when you got children that's running around here doing something wild, and parents don't know they're gone. Well, maybe you should have checked in the bedroom. Somebody's dead now because you didn't know where your child was.
Mr. Price?
Yeah, I just want to say, I introduced the juvenile curfew when this whole thing got started. And I just got one question for you. If a juvenile curfew saves one child, just one child, is that curfew worth it?
Yes, sir.
I'll ask you, because it might be your child. That's all I'm going to ask you, is if it saves one child, can you say that it was worth it?
And it's hurting.
One child. That's it. I know where these guys stand. I understand the sheriff. I can assure you, I've spoke with them. I think we'd all call it what it is. If they're overreaching, I know plenty of people on this council that would say, we're going to call you out. But I don't see that happening. They don't have the manpower to do it.
We don't have the time.
So all I got a question, like I said, is if it saved one child, that child could be yours. That's all I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to hear from Dr. King, the school district, if you would be willing to come forward. I heard Scott Morgan, South Carolina Public Radio, had a 3.5-minute segment, and I heard some of your comments, and I know that you have been an integral part of the holistic approach that the school district is trying to achieve. So if you'd like to give your comments, or the school district, speak on behalf of the school district.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. King, Chief of Student Services and Administration for the Chesterfield County School District. Our main focus with the ordinance from a district's perspective is just to educate our kids on the curfew, and to have our law enforcement, our SROs, be an integral part of relaying that message and answering any questions that they may have. And like everyone has interjected with this particular ordinance, it's about the safety of our kids and really trying to address the incidents that have been happening lately in our counties, and just trying to give some teeth behind, or we like to say accountability. Focus on the accountability part, which I think is a piece that has been missing for a long time, is the accountability piece. And it's just our job as a school district is to just educate our kids. Because the more they know, like, they can help also to answer some of the questions that the parents may have. Like, several things came up about, activities or kids traveling back and forth from work or games or whatnot. We have playoffs, sometimes they get back late. And the main thing is it won't affect them. It's just knowing that it's designed to address the crime and the things that are going on in the community, and not the ones that aren't doing the crime. Because, you know, most of the time, our kids, and this is coming from a parent, I am a parent of 2 boys, you know, why would they need to be out at 11, 12 o'clock at night on a school night or any night? But that's just my personal opinion. But at the same time, I think that to have this thing in place and to help law enforcement or to help our community as a whole, because like I said, no one wants to lose a child with the things that have been going on. And me personally, being the chief of student services, I interact anytime one of our kids or something like that happens to our kids, it's a part of what I do. And so it's nothing more hurtful than to see and to have to deal with those things on a day-to-day with no child should have to deal with, or no parent should have to deal with. But anything to help support and to educate our kids, that's what we're here to do as a district. So that's what our job was in helping or walking through this ordinance. And like I said, a lot of this stuff has been in place. It's just now going to be uniform. And so, but as a school district, that's what, and we talked about, it's just helping, you know, holding the parents accountable. Not saying that all parents are bad or all parents aren't doing the best that they can, but in some cases, we need to have some accountability, and that's what we're talking about.
Well, Mr. Curtis just reminded me, and I do think that this is worth sharing. The school district knows that we have not passed this ordinance.
That is correct.
The hearing and then third reading if we move forward. But we do appreciate the effort that the school district has made to inform and educate parents. And we've gotten a lot of feedback from that. We see the barometer of how people are feeling. Right. And,
yes, ma'am.
And we just appreciate the tremendous effort that you all have done and your plan in place to move forward with SROs. You know, should this move forward,
yes,
you have a plan in place to make sure that those students and parents are educated in small groups so that there are opportunities to ask those questions and answer them.
Absolutely. And we do understand that this is not something that has passed yet.
Right.
But we just want to be proactive and kind of inform.
We just want to say thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
Just a question.
Sure.
How many cities in the county have a curfew ordinance already? I know Pageland, Cheraw.
Chesterfield.
Chesterfield. McBee. They already got an ordinance already.
There's 4.
Well, if these ordinances already been set in place in these cities in Chesterfield County, the sheriff's office is law enforcement over Chesterfield County. Why not, just a question, the curfews is already set. Cheraw just happened to be in Chesterfield County. And the county is the county of Chesterfield. The county sheriff department can make an arrest in anywhere in Chesterfield County.
They can't enforce a town ordinance.
Cannot enforce the ordinance.
It's got to be, okay, all right. Okay, all right, I just want
Key
to
thing is we want uniformity. That's why we meet it.
Thank you, Dr. King.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, anyone else? And then we're going to.
Real quick, Brian Morgan, 411 Church Street, Cheraw, South Carolina. To the question as far as uniformity, I did make one of the town council meetings, and I was asking, is this going to be a, conflict with what y'all are proposing and looking to do and what they already have in place? From what I gathered from one of the representatives is that whatever y'all are going to pass, if you do decide to pass it, they are going to adopt what you have in place, going back to uniformity. I will say this, I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. I'm formerly with the Denton County Sheriff's Office and the Fort Worth Police Department. A lot of great feedback, but I go back to especially what Mr. Kaiser had stated. I don't know how many of y'all have seen dead kids. I don't know how many of y'all have seen the travesty of staying out late. Now, we didn't have curfew in Fort Worth. Fort Worth is huge, especially the Metroplex. But I saw the deaths. I saw the accidents. Growing up as a teenager, I'll be straight up. We used to go to keg parties out at Benbrook Lake, go to Eagle Mountain Lake, whatever. I was out, I saw car pileups, I saw kids going out drinking and driving. Guess what? My friends aren't here today. When I was in law enforcement, A lot of kids out there doing some wild things. They're not here today. Now, I'm also a parent. I have a son that we got through school, got him through COVID. He is now actively serving the United States military. He's in the Navy. He's out there. What is he doing? He's protecting. He's protecting this country from the drug dealers, okay? This ordinance is to do what? Protect the kids, okay? Street lights came on and we came home. We don't have that anymore. It's a different world, okay? Now, we need to propose an ordinance. Again, we need to drive accountability back into the home, okay? We need to have parenting. We need to get them back. I've worked with Dr. King as part of, I forget the program that we were on. PAL. Thank you. Working on school safety, you know, with the issue that we had that one time where a gun appeared at Law Middle School, where my daughter now attends. And we did a lot of great work. Again, I support Dr. Ballinger. He's making a great effort. He's doing an excellent job as far as I'm concerned. I'm seeing the grades coming up as far as the schools are concerned. We need to move forward. We need to take a real hard look at this. Again, the only thing that I had an issue with that I wanted y'all to consider is the implementation of the penalties, okay? We're not economically there. I'm glad to hear that we've got some stuff coming in, but we're not economically there. We've got kids that are displaced, living with grandparents, with guardians, whatever the case may be. They may be without a job. They may be on Social Security, whatever the case may be. They might not be able to afford 30 days in jail. You know, what is it going to do to their child? They may not be able to afford that $500. So that's the piece to look at. As far as the implementation of the curfew, yeah, 11 o'clock is great. Me personally, I shouldn't have been out after 11 o'clock. Street light come on, I better be home. We got better things to do. We can study. We can look at our books. We can prep for exams, whatever. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, yeah. You know, there are games, whatever. 11 o'clock, it's time to be with family. It's time to reunite that family and not be out there in the streets causing the trouble that's being caused. Me outside looking in. I grew up Dallas-Fort Worth. Went to college in Nebraska. I lived in Vance County, North Carolina when I worked for Procter & Gamble. Vance County is not exactly, Vance County was bad. Moved down here. You got a growing crime rate. Uniform crime reports might not show everything because unless it's reported, you can't show it. But it's growing. It's out there. And something has got to happen. Something. So I'll leave it to y'all. I'll leave it to the county attorney, to the feedback of the citizens, to be able for y'all to be able to collectively come up with a solution with the rest of the districts, with the rest of the townships or towns, to be able to have that uniformity, that everybody's pulling in the same direction. And that's exactly what the businesses that I've been involved in, you pull in the same direction, everybody's on the same page, and you have that level of accountability, and you have that level of ownership and that passion to do the right thing. Somewhere down the line, you're not going to get everybody's buy-in, but you might get 80 for the 20. You might get 90 for the 10.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Mr. Ford?
First of all, I would like to thank everybody that took time out of their day to come and show an interest in this topic. I'm very much a constitutionalist. Probably worry about things from that perspective sometimes too much. After sitting here listening to everything everybody said, I think everybody here has got valid points and valid concerns, and I don't think that this is a complete solution. I don't think it was ever intended to be a solution. I think it's just a step to try to assist law enforcement with some tool to hold parents accountable for when their kids commit crimes at night because their parents don't know where they are. Sheriff's Office law enforcement throughout this process has made it very clear that this isn't an open season ordinance on kids. to go and stop every car, to go and stop every kid, to do anything of this nature. I would be totally opposed to that. And Ms. Anderson, thank you for speaking on the things that you spoke on, because me and you see a lot of things in a similar light. I have a little different opinion about it just because I know something has to be done to hold these parents accountable. And if this ordinance passes and is enforced according to the way it's been publicly talked about since day one about holding these parents accountable, I don't think it's an infringement on people's rights, on the kids' rights. It's been around for a long time. I'm not a legal scholar, but we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just trying to bring the whole county together, all the municipalities, to have a time that is the same across the board. So one place doesn't have one time, one place doesn't have the other time. There's a lot of stipulations in there that give everybody an out for this rule. As it relates to law enforcement violating people's rights, I'll stand beside anybody and say, no matter what it is, I won't stand for it. But when you look at laws, if you have a rogue law enforcement officer, they don't need a new law to be rogue. They can violate your rights without that law as it is right now. So when I look at it from that perspective, it's not going to make new rogue officers. There's bad and there's good. I support law enforcement. But they don't need this new one to be able to violate somebody's rights. So when I say that, I really believe that there has been a very, very diligent effort among this council to work with everybody that would even come close to having input and go through the process to try to come up with a sensible way to give law enforcement a tool. But you got my pledge before I stop. If this is abused, if this passes and this is abused, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'll be the first one to sit up here and say, we got to go backwards. We got to do something different. That's my pledge right now. But if it's done according to the way it has been described from day one, if it's going to hold parents accountable for what their kids are doing in the wee hours of the night because they're being poor parents, which is a sad day that we even have to have this conversation, I'm for it. I'd like to call it to a vote.
I'll call to close the
Close the meeting.
Close the hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Question. There was some great concern made by, what's your name? What's your name?
Bishop McClendon, what's that?
I got a question before we
Yeah,
vote.
just save it for the discussion.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going to have a discussion. A time does.
Are we getting ready to vote on it now?
No, we're not voting yet. We're
All
just
right.
we're closing the public hearing.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and then we'll have
Okay.
the third reading and, ordinance reading. Okay, we're just closing the public hearing. All right, so there's a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the public hearing is now closed. All right, now we're moving on to the ordinance readings and resolutions. So first, we have Project Maple Leaf. Is there a motion to approve the third reading, Project Maple Leaf?
So move.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Kirkley, there's a second by Mr. Curtis. Any more discussion? No. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. And just on behalf of council, thank you all for being here today and helping to clarify that. We are super excited about the investment that you're making in Chesterfield County and certainly appreciate it. Yes, if there's anything else, absolutely. If there's anything else you want to say, please come forward.
I just wanted to say, we're really excited about Cyclic Materials coming here. It just seems like a fantastic company, and I wanted to thank all of you. You've worked with me on this, and you've had a lot of wisdom and vision, so I wanted to thank you, council members, for approving this.
Thank you. Thank you for your work.
Did you all need to add anything? Okay.
Thank you very much. Yep. And thank you, Representative Yao, for being here too and your support. All right, now we have ordinance reading resolution, ordinance title establishing curfews for juvenile. Is there a motion to approve the third reading? Okay, there's a motion by Ms. Burns. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a second. Now, all in favor?
Question.
Discussion, I think you had a question.
Well, I thought we were just making a motion to approve the third reading. Then we have discussion.
Didn't, Dr. Johnny have a question?
Yes,
We
now there's
discussed
any
race.
discussion, yeah.
May I say it now?
Well, we had a motion, a second, so we have to approve that, and then we have
I'm
discussion.
waiting.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we can, go ahead.
Yeah, because it makes sense to me to have the discussion before you have the approval. 'cause
Oh, yes, we are, that's right. I just wanted to make sure that we had
might
a
be some
motion and a
changes
second.
made.
Sure.
What's your name again? Yeah. What's your name? Just tell me your name. Yeah, Brian. Brian brought up a great concern, and I think we need to look at this. Under the penalty, on number 4, it said, now Brian, here's what it said, that each offense under this section shall be punishable by a fine not to exceed, I think the key word here is not to exceed $500. Am I reading this right, that every fine is not $500, but not to exceed $500?
That's correct.
So that fine, Brian, could be $100, or be $50. I don't know who determines that, but it's not to exceed $500. Okay, but I'm like Ethan, if I think the fine is far beyond what is right, I'll be the first one to stand and fight against it as well.
That's a great point.
I just want to clear that up.
No, sure, good point. And to be honest, there's a lot of motions and seconds, and I just wanted to make sure that we were in the right place before we had discussion. So is there any more discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a couple of comments here. And I started to make these during public hearing, but I thought this might be a better time to make them. This has probably been more of a heartburn topic than it seems like it should have been, or I think we've made some decisions that are equally as heavy as this one, but they just seemed easier at the time. I take this as a very weighty decision. In its intent, it is designed to protect children and foster some sort of accountability and responsibility in parents. And I can get behind that 100%. I'm the first one to jump on a rock and tell you that I'm not in favor whatsoever to deny rights to any law-abiding citizen based on the fact that others choose to abuse theirs. So it's a struggle to me, probably more so than anything we've sat up here and talked about, because you want to get it right because it's just the children at stake, right? I agree with you. The first example I made, as I've talked to people in our county, and I've talked to a lot of them, and I can promise you the passion's the same on both sides. In this chair, you can't make everybody happy. You can only try to do what's best for the majority of the people you represent. So you talk to people and you make decisions based on what the majority of the people that you represent want. My son was the world's worst for calling me at 11 o'clock on a Friday or Saturday night. Man, the fish are biting. They be at the river. Can I come home late tonight? What's late, son? 1 o'clock? All right, straight home. And when he asked, I let him because I never had a minute's trouble out of him. If that were to happen, now, let me, in complete transparency, this really won't affect me. My youngest one's 18. My oldest one's turned 32 a couple of days ago. So if this were today and he was on his way home and he was pulled over for coming home from fishing, if anything besides be safe going home, did you catch anything? Yeah, that's why we stayed out so late. Have a good night. If anything beyond that happened, I'd be upset, okay? Because you're stepping on my parental right to decide whether my child should be able to fish, and I get that. It is, if you called me and said, hey, he's on his way home from fishing, just want to let you know we had an encounter with him, but he'll be there soon. Very good, thank you. Because that did a couple things. Number one, it lets me know they're out doing their job, they're not harassing people, but also, what if my child, who as much as he behaved, what if he'd have snuck out from his friend's house to go see his girlfriend or something and wasn't supposed to? Guess what they just did? They told me. Now, I may not let the cat out of the bag until he gets home because that's where he's coming right then. But you see what I'm saying? I mean, it's in its intent. It's a weighty decision, and I don't think anybody at this table takes it lightly. I just fear that if you make the wrong, if we approve it and somebody gets harassed, we're going to have all kinds of discussions about it, right? It's going to be a problem. If we don't approve it, and heaven forbid a child gets hurt, we have to lay in bed that night and look at the ceiling and go, man, what if? What if this was the one that might have saved? So me to sit here and tell you that I know exactly what the answer is, I don't. But I just felt this is heavy enough on me that I felt like I needed to say these things before we come to a vote. And with that, I'll just be quiet. But thank you for listening.
Anybody else on council?
We said one final thing, Madam Chair. We said that, and maybe we have done this, I just want to verify so the community would know. We said that the burst of this, that we will have these meetings in reference to the curfew, and you all correct me if I'm wrong, in Paisley, Chesterfield, and Sherrall, either at the school or the community center for the community. Have that been accomplished?
I know that the school district has taken the ball on that.
That's what we stated, am I right? Okay. I'm not sure if that's been accomplished. If it have, somebody let me know.
I think we've done about all we can do as far as publicizing it. My understanding, Dr. King, y'all developed and sent out 4 or 5 flyers to the kids, to the parents, so everybody's aware. Everybody's aware, yes. And,
I've been working with the towns, from what I was told.
Now, when I say, now, we don't take full responsibility, but
Sure.
we have been sending out the flyers to our kids and to our parents regarding the curfew. We did an FAQ that we sent out. So we've done those things, and every week we've sent things out via email. We put on our website. We've done those things from a district perspective. Now, as far as the town meetings, I'm not privy to that. I'm not sure about those things, but I do know as a district, we sent that information out. The district has shared the information.
We're not having any discussion from the floor.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
if I could, when the committee, juvenile committee, first had their first meeting, and I apologize, can't talk too loudly, but this was really discussed among a lot of people that were there, law enforcement. We had pastors there. We had members of the committee there. We realized that there's an issue with crime in Chesterfield County, and it's not just the juveniles. This is not going to be a cure-all. This is not going to end all of the crime. It's not just our children, but we feel like we need to do something, and this is what we've come up with. Is it going to handle all the issues? No. It's just a starting point.
Thank you. All right, call for the question. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, our third ordinance this morning is emergency ordinance declaring temporary moratorium on the issuance of permits for establishment of mobile home parks, RV parks, and subdivisions. Is there a motion to approve the extension of this emergency ordinance?
So moved.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Kirkley. Is there a
Second.
second by Ms. Burns? Any discussion? I will let you know that we've had a lot of discussion with Derek Ooten, I know planning, and you may want to speak to this, but there's a meeting on December the 10th at 10 o'clock. That's the next meeting. From what I was told, he hopes to have everything kind of ironed out by then, so hopefully this is the last time we're going to have to do this. But
same question I've always asked, are the ones that already have mobile home park permits exempt?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
I got, Madam,
Yes.
one thing too, I've had a couple constituents ask, I think we just need to clarify, we're talking about developments.
Right.
So
Good.
for all of y'all that's listening or people in the audience, we're talking about developments. We're not talking about individuals that want to put a mobile home on a park or a piece of property or build a house on a lot. That does not affect you, am I right?
Yes.
So understand that we're talking, this moratorium and the changes that we're working with PD COG only apply to developers, people that develop land for multi-volume housing. So I just want to make sure we clarify that, because I've had a lot of people say, we're trying to tell people what they can and can't do with their land. That's not the case.
Thank you for the clarification.
We're talking about developers that want to come in and put a mobile home park, you want to put a subdivision in. That's where we're working with PD COG to address the current ordinance that we currently have.
Yeah. Good, thank you. All right, any more discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, we're moving down to standing committee reports. Mr. Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'm sorry I'm losing my voice. Oh, that bug's going around. I think Ms. Burns knows all about it. The committee met, and it was committee's consensus that we allow the administrator to negotiate with the folks that we have now for one more year extension. And that's our recommendation.
Is that in the form of a motion?
That's for a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you for taking care of that. All right, Finance Committee meeting, Mr. Smallwood.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So a couple of weeks ago, the Finance Committee met with the treasurer. I'll try to be short, and we've had a lot of stuff going on this morning, so I'll try to be short and to the point. We met with the treasurer. I'll tell you a little bit about why we felt that meeting was necessary. It was brought to our attention that an employee, well, let me back up here. Every year, the treasurer's office does a reconciliation of our tax account. Can y'all hear me? They do a reconciliation of our tax account. Once that reconciliation is done, it goes to an auditor who then prepares a report, gives it back to us. We then submit it to the state by the end of the year, per state regulations. It was brought to our attention that the employee, who is the key participant in completing that report in a timely manner, was leaving. So we felt compelled to sit down with the treasurer and discuss, what we could do to make sure that report was done on time. Was it going to be on time? Kind of what the plan was. During that discussion, it was determined that the report would not be done on time, and the only recommendation we got was to bring in a third-party accounting firm to help complete the report. Well, with some discussion from the Finance Committee, based on that information, along with, if you look at the last 4 years, this is the third year this report has been late out of 4 years. 2 times we've had to bring in an accounting firm from the outside to help complete this report at an expense we don't have budgeted. And the 1 year the report was on time, we were cited, or that account was cited for not balancing by the auditors. So based on those 4 years in the track record there, the discussion about the write-offs we had during the audit last year, the discrepancies we've had in that office recently, the Finance Committee came to the agreement unanimously to recommend to County Council, full council, that the best way to clean this up and the only step moving forward that can guarantee that the taxpayers are being represented in this account is being handled properly and actually give us a reset is to move forward with a complete forensic audit. And so at this time, I would like to make that an motion that the Finance Committee's recommendation is for full council to consider moving forward with a full forensic audit of the Treasurer's Office.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Question, if I may. And
Sure.
Mr. Smallwood, you probably answer this for me. Now, we're not talking about just a reconciliation audit, but a forensic audit, deep dive
Deep
audit.
dive. And it's an unfortunate task that seems to be necessary.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It's,
Thank you.
yeah,
It's going to be very expensive,
yes.
but it's a necessary thing. The treasurer's office has really struggled with the accounting of taxpayer dollars. There's been some discrepancies, as Mr. Smallwood said, that are alarming. And this is the only option that we have to ensure that the money that is supposed to be there is there, and if it's not, then law enforcement needs to come in and investigate accordingly, and whatever they see fit needs to be dealt with from there. But this is going to be a major expense, but I feel like we have no option but to get to the bottom of it right now.
I'd like to point out too that I know we talk about this a lot, but sometimes we forget that you guys may not hear everything. This is the audit of our tax account for the previous year. This year ended on June 30th. Our auditors needed our complete reconciliation by the end of November to get their report done so they could get it back to us by the end of December. It's not like we closed the books last week and we don't have a reconciliation done. This is a process, and in my opinion, I feel like we owe it to the taxpayers to, at any given time, we should be able to tell you to the penny from that office what's in that account and where it's going at all times. And this is a step to do that. It is going to be expensive. It's going to be an undertaking. However, I'm not sure it's going to cost a whole lot more than the 2 times in the last 4 years we've had to bring in a third-party accounting firm to sort this out for us. Right. So I would rather pay this one more time and have a reset and us know. And by the way, our committee will be meeting on things that we can put in place to see to it this does not happen anymore. There are certain things we can and can't control as a council. This may not be our fault, but it is absolutely our problem to get to the bottom of it and fix it.
And also for just a statement for the record, that the treasurer is an elected official and county council has absolutely no control over what they do in their office as far as doing the job that they were elected to do. The only thing we are doing is doing what we feel is our duty to make sure that the money is accounted for, but we can't hold the treasurer accountable for the shortcomings or anything associated with that. That's an elected position.
Okay, there's a motion and a second.
We do want to make sure everybody understands this is not the first time.
Right.
Not the first time.
So Todd, do we have reason to believe that there's money missing, or we're not being good stewards of taxpayer dollars?
I don't want to make any.
Oh, I'm asking for that.
I will say this.
What's the reason for the audit? What's the reason for the deep dive?
I don't think we have a clear management day-to-day of that account. I don't,
Okay.
honestly, in my opinion, I don't think we know for sure exactly where it is. We have to write off the amount of money that was written off last year because, I'm assuming, because it couldn't be found.
What was that amount?
Ms. Stanley?
It was $19,000.
So $19,000 is unaccounted for?
That we know of.
Yes, that we know of. And honestly, we're not talking about an account where we deal with a few $100s. Right. Ms. Stanley, what runs through that account?
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, millions of dollars. And I don't care if it's millions of dollars. We need to know to the penny. Anything less than that is unacceptable.
Right. I thought that's important just to.
Yeah, I agree.
For people to know.
Yep.
Why you felt.
There's a lot to unpack here. We could probably talk for another 2 hours just on this topic. I mean,
Right.
You know, there's going to be, and there'll be more as this goes on that we'll talk about. Again, this isn't about wrongdoing, maybe just not proper management. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but we just need to have a reset because we owe it to the taxpayer.
Okay, there's a motion, second. We've had discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you, Mr. Smallwood, and your committee. We have 3 items submitted by staff. The first is the 2026 council meeting dates. Ms. Stanley.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, it's necessary for us to set our official council meeting dates for next year. And you have 2 options. But first of all, what I wanted to mention is on both of the options, we have included a briefing meeting, which we're recommending for be at 9 a.m. during the day. And this meeting is to kind of, for council to get together. It's not required to be here. We won't take any votes or anything. It's more like an informative meeting for us to, to meet. Maybe department heads may want to come and just like use Derek as a scenario. He's working on the subdivision. It might be a time for him to come and speak to us and to kind of, inform you and bring you abreast of what's going to be taking place at the next council meeting. So you'll see on both options where we've got a council briefing. So that's, something for y'all to keep in mind of and see if you want to approve for us to start doing that every month. But the option 1 is got the council meetings like our usual at 9 a.m. the first Wednesday. And then you see with the briefing is, it's like different dates each month.
The third.
Yeah. And then option 2, you got the council meeting on the second Monday each month at 5:30. And then the briefing is the 4th Monday.
Actually, option 1 is the 5:30, the second Monday briefing on the 4th Monday at 9. And then option 2, as she said, is our regular schedule like we have now with the briefing on the 3rd Monday.
We don't have copies on this side of that.
You should have had it in your packet.
That you got through email, your email packet.
Ms. Stanley, I'd like to, I've been an advocate for moving the meeting times. I've mentioned that numerous times through the year, but I think we probably should move the meeting times to later where every citizen can be present and we can have crowds like we have today, and there's no reason that we shouldn't have community input. I brought this up a few months back, and I'm glad it's on the agenda for today. I had to wait till now to get that done, but I'm certainly an advocate for an afternoon or late evening meeting so that we can have our constituents come and voice concerns.
So the reason for the second Monday is because we checked with the municipalities to see.
Right.
And we also didn't want to conflict with PD cog, our meetings there. And then 5:30, just to ensure that we
I like
are
that.
able to get out and our staff isn't here and then leaving and then coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So is that in the form of a motion?
I'd like to motion that myself.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to accept meeting on the second Mondays at 5:30 with briefings on the fourth Monday at 9 o'clock. I propose that based on, what other municipalities and some counties are doing, and it alleviates a lot of discussion, during the meeting where we can know ahead of time, and it's a briefing, so there are no votes made motions made or votes taken. So if that's your motion to do the second Monday at 5:30, and then the fourth Monday at 9 o'clock.
That's it.
There's a second? Okay, second Monday. Mhm. At 9 a.m. Okay,
And
any
Mary.
more discussion?
Madam Chair.
Oh,
Sorry.
yes.
Let Ms. Burns go first.
Yeah, I was calling Ms. Burns.
Just to be clear,
Wait, just to be clear, Ms. Burns is speaking.
just to be clear, and just to be loud, the meeting is our regular scheduled meeting we're talking about at 5:30.
Right,
The briefings are optional.
right.
They're not meetings that we're required to.
No.
Okay, it's optional.
Right. It's just an opportunity for department heads or for staff to share any information with us that they need to share ahead of time. And if you're available to come, I'd certainly encourage participation in that because I think it will make us better informed and better decision makers. But I certainly understand that people have different schedules and you may not be able to be here every month. And just for the record, it's not every month for the briefings. We don't have a briefing in July because of the conference or a briefing in November and December because of holidays. So it'll be 9 of the 12 months.
This will be in effect come January?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so our first meeting for the new year would be January the 12th at 5:30 PM.
Okay.
So, but we have to vote for it first, so there's a motion, a second. We've had discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. And next,
You said 5 or 5:30?
5:30.
And the next items is our holidays. We always vote on our holidays for the upcoming year. So has everybody got that in their packet? Okay.
All right, so is there a motion to accept the holiday schedule for 2026 as recommended by staff?
Motion.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Price, second by Mr. Smallwood. Any more discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Motion carries. All right, back to you, Ms. Stanley.
The next item is, we have a 2015 Ford Escape that we want to surplus and be able to sell. Currently, it was being used by the solicitor, our employee that works at the solicitor's office. She was using it while they were getting another vehicle fixed, but now it's coming back to us, so I wanted to get it surplus to be able to sell because
Okay.
we no longer need it. So I wanted to get it surplus. Now, I will say this, we usually put them all on gov deals. The solicitor, once was getting asked for the vehicle back, that they were done with it, they approached me about purchasing it. So that's the only difference, that I'm asking, are y'all willing to let them purchase it? And I looked and it's valued at like $4,000, and they're willing to pay $4,000 for it. Instead of putting it on gov deals, we've got another entity, in the county that's requesting it. And it's gonna be our employee driving it, so.
So do I have a motion
Motion.
to surplus this property?
Motion.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good
Motion by
deal.
Mr. Price, second by Mr. Ford. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we have, motion carries. No unfinished business, no new business, no board appointments, administrators report.
Okay, great, thanks. Two items I wanted to inform you about. On Wednesday, December the 17th, from 11 to 2, we're going to have our luncheon here. So please, if you put that on your calendar, we'd love for y'all to come. But it's Wednesday, December 17th, from 11 to 2, and we always have it in this room. And then also I wanted to let you know that in the early spring, it'd probably be February or March, we're going to they'll do the flight for the GIS. So that's when we have an updated flight. We just paid the invoice. So I thought, you know, we'll have it, it'll be updated.
It's June?
Mhm.
When is that?
It'll be in February or
February,
March.
okay.
Give me a time on that.
Okay.
Okay, December 17th, 11 to 2.
Okay, council member announcements. I just want to welcome Executive Director of PD COG, Joette Dukes. Thank you for being here with us. COG is a valuable tool and resource for our county, and we certainly appreciate all that you do to support us and your staff does to support us. I wanted to also remind everybody there's a pet adoption at the shelter where the fees are waived, and that's from 1 o'clock until 4 o'clock, December the 6th. So if you know anybody looking for a furry friend, that would be a great time to go and check out the options at the shelter. And then one more, I put a SD 250 Revolutionary Chesterfield County brochure at everybody's seat. This was our second grant, and all of the promotional materials have come in, so they're ready to have their tent up and make sure that people know what we're doing in Chesterfield County. Catherine Kress with the library has reached out, and she has some great ideas and some opportunities. And they've just approved a third grant, has been approved. Mr. Jack Parker's book is going to be, the grant was submitted, but it was just awarded this last week. So that's another, a great thing going for our county, and just a wonderful way to celebrate Jack's life and the resource that he's provided, not only our county, but our state and our nation. So I just wanted to notify you all about that good news. That's all I have. Anybody else have an announcement? All right, well, there is a need to go into executive session. I'm going to send that to you, Mr. Bryant.
Yes, pursuant to South Carolina Code, Section 3470A2, council is now entering into executive session for a discussion of negotiations, incident, proposed contractual arrangements, the receipt of legal advice, where the legal advice relates to a pending, threatened, or potential claim, or other matters covered by the attorney-client privilege regarding the following, and there are two items. First, an easement agreement for Lynch's River Industrial Park, and second, a discussion of the matters relating to the Treasurer's Office. Council may take action by voting upon the matters referenced above after exiting executive session.
Okay, thank you. We're now in executive session. We are going to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll, oh, we do have to have a motion to enter.
Motion.
Sorry, we are not in until we have the motion. Motion, is there a second? No, Ms. Burns, all in favor indicate by saying aye. We are now in executive session. out of executive
Cole said he
session.
thought this was 2 hours. He meant.
Man, you got to make sure.
Motion to adjourn.
Not yet. No, we got some business.
Yeah, nobody wants to worse than Mary.
No.
She got
I
to
know.
go.
Well, Ms. Burns and I both have
I know,
to
y'all
go,
got a lot
but
of
we're
driving
not-
to do.
I'm not pushing to do that. I'm patient.
Don't break the speed limit.
I'm patient. This is important to get right.
That's right.
Okay, we are now out of executive session where no motions were made or votes were taken. We do have one action item, and then I need to, we need to revisit something we voted on earlier. So, do I have a motion for an action item from executive session? Dr. Brand?
Yes, I make a motion to give our attorney and economic development the authorization to enter into a easement agreement on behalf of council for the purpose of connecting a water line at the Lynch's River Industrial Park.
There's a motion by Dr. Brand, a second by Ms. Burns. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Okay, any opposed? All right, so y'all, I made the mistake with the calendar, and I thought PD cog, and I go to the meetings. I think I just looked when there was a special called meeting one time, and I didn't look at it right. They meet the second Monday, so would you all have a problem with us meeting on the first Monday of the month at 5:30 instead of the second Monday?
Yes.
You do?
No, that'd be good.
Oh, okay, because the second Monday is, I hate to take us out. PDCOG is so valuable to us, and we are, you know, an integral part of that business. So if we can move our meetings now to the, I'll have to have a motion on that in just a second, but if we'll move our meeting to the 5th and then, to the first Monday, that's correct, thank you. And then the briefing will be the third Monday, okay? So would someone like to make a motion?
I make a motion that the meeting starting January be moved to the first Monday and the third Monday for county council meeting on the first Monday, and the third Monday be for
The briefing.
the briefing.
Okay, is there a second? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, well, just thank you for understanding. That's at 5:30, right, so it's gonna be the first and third, that's right.
We'll email y'all an updated calendar.
Yep, we'll do that, okay. No more discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, Ms. Michelle, Susan had talked to me last month. I don't know who's catering, but check with your caterer for December 17th. If it's okay with them, I'll cook y'all some free leg quarters on the grill to go with the meal on December 17th. Some caterers don't mind it, other caterers may not, so let me know.
I'm glad we didn't adjourn before hearing that. That sounds good.
Glad to do it.
Now, okay, there's a motion by Mr. Ford to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Woo!